Right, we're live, and there's already 8 people here. Wow!
Yay! Hello,
Hi guys.
everyone.
Let's see if we can get some people chatting on the chat box as well. Hello. Oh, we've got 12. Oh, the number's going up. That's a good number. We do like a good 12. Can we get it higher though? Oh, there we go. We've got hellos coming through. Hello, people. We got
Hello.
got Kusar. We got Jenny. We got Aftar. We got Kath. Hello, Kath. Special mention to Kath for helping us out in the webinar. How's everybody doing today? Everyone's all right? Oh, there we go.
Hello.
Got Ricky. We've got got Joe. We've got Jekaterina. That's a nice name. It's a very nice name. I wish I pronounced that better, but that does sound like a nice name.
I'm not seeing the chat, Nikhil. What do I need to press?
So on the right hand side, there's a little chat box. Just click on that, and it should show the chat. Oh, Martha says hello, Chloe.
Hiya.
There you go. Hi, Anne. Hi, Sarah. Oh, Helen as well. Hello. Hello, everybody. We've got a live audience. I love it. This is nice. We've very
Great.
homely.
We can start. Yeah, we'll start in a minute, I think.
Yeah, we'll give it another minute or so. But we've got 14. Oh, Jean. Oh, glad you just made it. Perfect. Just in time. Don't worry, we'll give it another minute or so, just so we'll let some people come in.
Oh, now I can see everyone. Hooray.
There we go. Oh, Kath, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Let the kids watch as well. This is a family-friendly show as well. We do like this. Never know what the kids might learn.
It reminds me of when Dynasty used to come on in the 80s. The show's my age. Yeah. Everyone used to come along in a column. Here we are. Yeah, I remember that. The night show.
Is this the point where I ask what is Dynasty? Is that?
Oh,
is that the
question?
You're so young. What is this program? Does anyone know what this program is? Dynasty, good. No, I'll have a look tonight.
In the UK, it's Dynasty, but
yeah, I was going to say Dynasty.
So long, I know it is Dynasty.
Dynasty. I will have a look tonight on Dynasty. We'll see
have a look, and then you'll see all the 1980s credits, stars of the show.
Oh, there we go. Oh, Martha, I'm sorry, I don't know. I will learn. I'll have a look tonight, and then I'll have a look. I'll write it down as well. We'll have a look at this. I will learn. Do not worry.
Great. So it's now 18:03, and I said we would begin 3 minutes in, and it's lovely to see 14 people already joining us this evening. You've got 3 of us here because unfortunately Dan's not with us this evening. So Nikhil and I are doing the introductions, and then we'll pass over to Chloe, and we'll exit the screen. We're going to be still here, but you won't be able to see us anymore. So welcome everyone, and in case you don't know, I'm Catherine, and in the middle of your screen is Nikhil.
Hello.
Manning the tech in
the
Colab.
Got the
We're
keyboard
very
ready.
happy
Oh.
And I'd like to introduce Chloe Hardisty, who's going to tell us all about building a brand. So there are going to be opportunities to ask Chloe questions. I think she's really keen that you do ask questions. So please do put them in the chat, and she's going to follow along and keep an eye out as they come in so that she can answer them. Yeah. There are a couple of polls as we go along. And I also just wanted to encourage everyone to please give us your feedback after the sessions. It's really useful for us in terms of building webinar for the future, and also just to know how everything's going along. You will be given a link to an evaluation, but don't feel like that's your only way of communicating with us. You can also drop a line to Kath or myself and do that through social media as well if you need to. So I can see Becky's asking that she can't seem to connect to the video.
Right. I would suggest give it a refresh, Becky, and then let's see where it goes. Because that's always a good start. Let's give it a refresh, and if not, we'll have a look further in the chat.
Yeah, put it in the chat to Nicole, and he'll see if he can help you.
I'll see what I can do.
I think that's it. I think I'd like to hand over to Chloe now. So I'm gonna say goodbye. I'll see you at the end, and
yeah, see how it goes. All right.
Thank you.
Have fun. See you later.
Thank you. Okay, so it's just me. Now I'm going to get my slide. Start my slide. So just let me get this up. There we go. So that's good. You haven't got a whole screen full of me now. This is very strange doing this, not being able to hear anybody or kind of feel like I'm just talking to myself. But it's good. I'm just going to get the chat screen up so I can see. Right. Okay. I'm going to carry on until I know a few of you might be having problems, but I'm going to carry on until someone tells me to stop. So yeah, we're going to talk about branding and Instagram and general kind of online presence. So I'm going to start by just telling you a bit about me, because I think it's always good to know who's talking to you. So about me. So I've done lots of things in my time. I've had quite a few jobs. I originally studied textile design at Loughborough University, which is where I still live. So I kind of hung around. That was a long time ago. So I graduated in 1999. That was a long time ago. So after leaving university, I'll just put it onto the next slide actually. After leaving university, I spent a couple of years setting up a cafe. So I've always been an entrepreneur. It's always been in me, and did that for a couple of years, and then moved on to very, probably you would call it a non-creative career in environmental sustainability. Really, for 12 years I did various jobs in the public and private sector, and ending up doing a job which was in corporate responsibility, working with big companies and advising them on how to be a better business. So that's just to say I was really quite recently doing something very different. But I had children in 2012 and 2014, and was just really keen to get into, well, to build a career that was creative and worked around my family, which, like lots of people do, I imagine, kind of it's a big change in your life and you want to do something different. And that was my kind of incentive really to start looking at this. So that was in around 2014. I started thinking about kind of ideas and what I could do and how I could build a different career, one that allowed me to be more flexible and more creative. I started doing that and started off with selling on Etsy some really quite amateur little craft kits, and just built it from there, really, kind of went from there. To where I am now. I went full-time on the business in September 2017. And so what I do now is 95% is selling things online. So I'll talk more about that in a minute. And 5% is kind of content creation and writing for magazines or websites. So that's a little bit about what I do. So in a nutshell, I design and make craft kits, embroidery based, but I'm planning on expanding that into kind of wider craft products. So I sell wholesale and on my website, and not on the high street, and on Etsy. And as I said, I also get paid to write craft tutorials and content for magazines and websites. So that's about me. So about Cotton Clara, this was one of my highlights of last year. Yeah, it was last year. So I got on the front cover of the Not on High Street Christmas catalogue, which in my world, in the world of selling things online, small business, selling things online is a big thing. The Christmas catalogue is a big thing. And then to get on the front of it was a really, a real high point for me, really exciting. So my vision, just to tell you a bit about my business and a bit more about my business as it stands now, my vision for it. My business vision is to create a place where people can come to get inspired, to get creative. I make craft and making accessible for everyone, from complete beginners and those with no confidence to start. My products, I design original products, and I love using photography and styling to show how beautiful they might look in your home. And I keep to a consistent style, which is simple, bold, with a colourful palette. So that's a kind of summing up my business in 2 sentences. So the next slide. These are my brand values. So I'm just going to leave those there. I'm going to talk a bit more about my business strategy, and I'll come back to these. But my business strategy for a few years now has been to use my skills as a teacher and a maker, and more recently my passion for encouragement and a small business support, as well as my designs and products, to build a tribe or community of people that are interested in one or all of the parts of the things that I do. So I've done this through Instagram and through, so this is, I guess a kind of an essential kind of strategy for me as a business. I want people to know about what I do, but I want to be known for a wider kind of range of things than just selling things online. So my strategy to kind of create a community and create a tribe is to offer, I guess, more value and additional things to just the kits. So the kits are the main part of my business and the main income stream, but what I aim to do mainly through Instagram and through my blog is to add lots more value and to build a bigger story around what I do, in the kind of in the hope that that draws people in, and I can create a tribe and a community and people that love what I do and think the same as me, and will eventually become kind of consistent customers and support me to kind of keep going in this career. So I think that'll become kind of, it's important to know that that's kind of my strategy, and it'll become important as we talk about some of the ways I've done things. So I don't just see myself as a shop. I want to be a resource and an influencer, a mentor. And this for me is me being kind of my authentic self. It's what I love doing. It's what I naturally have kind of been drawn to doing. I kind of, like lots of creative people, I kind of am interested in everything and struggle to kind of just keep to one thing. So it works for me in that sense. And I get to tell a kind of a much more interesting story to a wider audience than I would if I was just talking about things that I'm selling, if that makes sense. So my kit, this is part of my, and I'm going to refer to this probably quite a lot, this is part of my why, the reason I do things. It's bigger than just making kits and selling them, and this is why the brand values, I think, kind of come into this. And hopefully you can look at those brand values, and then you might be able to look at my Instagram and see the connection between those brand values and how I communicate on Instagram and communicate across the board about my business. So yeah, I don't know, to go into my brand values. Yeah. So that's my business, and that's my kind of mission, and that's a bit about my kind of my why. I'm going to talk to you about my brand values and kind of what they mean, because I think it helps to communicate what my why is, and hopefully me saying that will make sense as the webinar goes on. So brand value, so inclusivity is that we never alienate anyone from the group, and always make things accessible, understandable and simple, and never use jargon. in the language that I use. So style, things are always well designed and beautiful, and I take time over this. There's no shortcuts. Freedom, I show others what is possible and how you can live a creative, happy life on your own terms. And originality, I'm always looking for fresh, authentic inspiration, never copying, always doing things differently and pushing the boundaries of how things are done. And positivity, always speaking encouragement and hope, and look for the best in every situation, and understand the power of words to speak to the heart. So I talk about this, and I'm telling you about this because I think I didn't really know, have this focus as a brand a couple of years ago. And I feel like I've learned a lot of this through committing to kind of posting on social media and kind of my journey on social media. And now knowing this, and now knowing these keys to my business, and having this real focus and understanding of my business really helps me communicate, and really helps me develop my business online. It helps the way I communicate, my tone, my photography, and everything really, the products I design, everything. So that's all about me and my brand. So this is what we're going to learn. Hopefully, this is what you'll learn from this webinar. The bulk of the content is around the first bullet, and I will sum up with the second two bullets. So, yeah. I'm hoping I love talking about this. I feel really passionate about it, and I felt nervous but excited to talk about this to you all tonight. A few caveats. This is all stuff that I've learned and I've picked up. It's more intuitive than based on any established framework. I've gleaned bits from here and there are people that do things differently to me. But I'm just going to be really honest with you and show you what works for me, both as a business, in a business sense, in that it generates sales, but also in that it works for me in that I feel authentic and honest working in this way. And I can honestly say that social media is something that I really love doing, and I find it really inspiring and life-giving. And I hope you'll find inspiration from my business as a case study. And yeah, I'm aware that I am a work in progress. I haven't got it all sorted out. And so I'm definitely not talking about this from a point of thinking that I've got it all worked out, but I'm still very much at the start and very much learning. But I'm excited to share with you what I've picked up and what I feel I've learned over the last probably 5 years of being on Instagram and using Instagram as my kind of main way of generating sales and communicating with my customers. So I will leave lots of time for comments and questions, but also, yeah, this is really important. So I'm talking about Instagram, but most of the principles that I talk about and the keys that I'm pulling out are applicable to any social media platform. So whichever one you choose is your one that you like the most. I'm assuming as creative people that Instagram is probably the one that you like the most, but it might be Facebook. I go nowhere near Twitter. I have no idea about Twitter. I'll say that now. But everything that I say, I think is transferable to whatever platform you use. So, yeah, I'll pause. Has anyone got any questions so far? I think Nikhil said there is a bit of a pause, so I'll just wait and see if anything comes through. But if you think of a question at any point, just whack it on the chat board, and then I can always come back to it if I'm in mid-flow. But if you think about it, put it on. Yeah, so also, you wouldn't normally get told this in a meeting or a webinar, but I would encourage you to have your phone out so that you can look at Instagram accounts while I'm talking about them. I've got a few case studies and yeah, you might want to look at my Instagram account to see if what I'm saying measures up. You can highlight if it doesn't. But yeah, have your phones out and have Instagram open. That will be really helpful. Okay. So I'll carry on. No questions yet. So why I love Instagram. So I really feel like Instagram has helped me develop my brand over the last 5 years. And partly it's been a kind of a discipline of posting and committing to posting daily, most days. So now I try and post twice a day, in the morning and the evening, less at weekends, but that's my aim. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but that's my kind of aim. But over the last 5 years, I really feel like having the kind of challenge, I look at Instagram as a real creative challenge, and I love that challenge of coming up with new content, new interesting content, and putting it out there. And I feel like that challenge has really helped me to develop my brand and to understand my style and the colours that I like, and develop a tone of voice that is me. So yeah. Oh, thanks, Kusor. That's really nice. Oh, I'm just reading the comments. Yeah. So I really love Instagram, and hopefully, if you don't love it, because I know lots of people don't, and they feel this real pressure around social media, I'm really hoping that maybe at the end of this that you might like it, or have a kind of a renewed enthusiasm to kind of give it a go. So yeah, the challenge has been great for me. I've also met some great people on Instagram, some great business contacts, some great friends. The potential for collaboration and meeting useful people and lovely people is amazing on Instagram. I get instant customer feedback on new products, so it's really useful for me as a tool, as a maker, to put things out there and see what people like. And quite often it is not what I'm expecting people to like. And I kind of treat Instagram a bit like Pinterest. So the people that I follow are all people that inspire me, and I love looking at their feeds. I don't follow anyone that makes me feel rubbish about myself, or, unfollow those types of people. Everyone that I follow on my feed, I love what they do, and I feel inspired when I scroll down my feed. And like everyone, I probably spend too much time on Instagram and can get, too into it. So yeah. Instagram for me is a really happy place to be generally. And also, this is really important. It is such a good place to learn. So you've probably all got your favorite kind of business people, or those people that you look up to who have businesses maybe that are kind of maybe a couple of years down the line to you, or something like that. And their accounts generally are there, they're open, they're public, ready for you to look at and to study. And that's what I've done. I just look at other people's accounts, and I love seeing how other people use Instagram and use, websites. And if you scroll through to their websites, I love learning from Instagram and learning from other people and see how they've done it. And that for me is why Instagram is so useful. I've learned so much of what to do and what not to do by observing other people online. So we're going to have a quick poll. Okay. So my Instagram, I think I've been focusing on it, Nikhil, about 5 years, maybe. If you scroll right down to the bottom, it looks ropey, but I think it's probably about 5 years. Yeah, something like that. Okay, right. I'm going to do a poll. Avatar, hold on. I'm going to do a poll. Just wait for me to do my poll. Start poll. Here we go. Okay. Hopefully you should be able to vote now. Yay. Oh. Okay. Few for Facebook. Anyone for Twitter? No one for Twitter. Yay. That's good. That is probably what I thought it would be. Instagram is definitely winning. Yeah, we're on the same wavelength. Nobody voted for Twitter. Yay. Brilliant. So that's really useful. So that's, I don't know if you can see that. That's 82% for Instagram, 18% for Facebook, and nobody for Twitter. So that is really interesting. So that's good. That's great for me, knowing that I'm talking to interested people. So reset poll, so you don't have to. Brilliant. We're back. So yeah, it depends on the audience. That's true. So I don't use Facebook as much. If I had more time, then I definitely would use Facebook, because it is I do have a page, but it is obviously a massively powerful platform for reaching a different audience to Instagram. So yeah, Joe. But like many small business people, you kind of have to split your time, and I go with my I go with Instagram because it's my fave. So this is this slide. I feel like, so I've been obviously thinking about this, and what is it that kind of helps me or has helped me to develop my approach to Instagram, and what is it that kind of underpins what I do, and what are the kind of aha moments I've had that have made me kind of move forward and see my kind of following increase. So these are 4 areas that I'm going to now talk about, because these feel fundamental to me. So what do you do? So we'll start top left. So what is your business? How do you communicate that on Instagram? What do you do? How do you say it? Write it in your biography. Be as clear as you can be. If people don't know what you do, then they can't reach out to you, buy from you, collaborate with you. But this really is more than about what you can write about in your bio. So has anybody read the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek? It's I've heard it mentioned loads in the circles that I move in, and it's a great book. So in the book, it's about finding the real core purpose of what your business is. And so for me, I make and sell craft kits, but for me, my real why is to bring colour to the world and to help beginners or non-confident crafters have a go at something creative and feel the joy that comes with that. So there's a first layer to kind of like what you do, and that's the kind of the basic. I make craft kits and I sell associated craft products. But then there's the deeper thing. There's the why. Why do you do it? And kind of what's the real heart of your business? Why does it get you out of bed every morning? Kind of why is it your passion? So yeah, this what do you do? Before I think you'll fly on Instagram is kind of really establishing this and really understanding this and really getting to grips with this. So just checking my notes. It does it, and this bit isn't that easy. So I probably feel like so I've been pursuing this kind of career for like 5 or so years, and I think probably it's only in the last year that I've really got clear on what it is that I'm about and why I do what I do, and the real heart of it. Because I think it's really easy to kind of pick up extra bits that possibly aren't part of that core why, because we need to make money. We say yes to things that maybe aren't fully aligned with the core purpose of our business, and it's easy to get sidetracked. But I found over the last year this increased focus of understanding what it is that I do, and the passion and the reason behind it has really helped me communicate, obviously then what I do, because I can be so clearer than I've been for the last few years. And in communication, then clarity is everything, isn't it? So yeah, this for me feels really important. And so practically how you do this, I would suggest, Nikhil's mentioned the TEDx. It's much easier than reading the book. The book is quite heavy going, but I found my focus through regular journaling, listening to lots of business podcasts, just spending time thinking about it and really reducing down what you do and understanding what it is that you're most passionate about, so that you can really get to the heart of the business. So hopefully that makes sense. So then the next one is what's your unique voice? And this is related. I guess you need to kind of understand the what you do bit and the why, and the unique voice bit will come. But there are lots of people on Instagram, and it might feel hard to get heard. But you have, what is exciting is that you have a unique set of skills and talents and interests and passions that make your voice unique. And I think tapping into that and finding that and being confident with that will really help you communicate on Instagram. So we'll talk. I feel like this stuff is what I'm going through now is kind of high level. We will go through the kind of a practical kind of actually what would you do when you get on the app. But this finding your unique voice is really key. It's how you talk in your captions. It's how you talk when you're on stories, so the live kind of videos. And so how I've done this is kind of so there are obviously lots of businesses like mine online selling things and showing kind of behind the scenes of the business journey. So how I've tried to do this and to really be as much myself as I can be online and as honest as I can be is really go into detail and be as honest as I can be about the business journey. So that is one of the things that makes my voice unique. The other thing is that I love encouraging people. I love being a positive voice, and I'm obsessed with self-help and personal development blogs and podcasts and books. So I'm reading all the time, I'm listening to stuff all the time, and a part of how I communicate and the things that I say and part of my content, I guess, on Instagram is telling people about this and getting excited about it and passing on things that I've learned that have really opened my eyes and really helped me. So my unique voice is that kind of mixture of my products and my design and my business and what I'm selling, mixed with honest talk about my business, mixed with exciting inspiration that I've got from things that I've read and heard online. So that's how I've tried to kind of make my unique voice. And when we go through to look at some examples of people's profiles on Instagram, we'll talk about this again, but this kind of unique voice. So I think that's really key, but it takes a bit of time, and it takes you to okay, just time check. Yep, this is fine. It takes a bit of time to develop that voice and to get there, but again, practice and committing to the platform and committing to social media and posting kind of regularly will get you there. And then the next one is who you're talking to. So knowing your customer or who you want your customer to be is really important. So you've got your unique voice and you've got what kind of you want to say and how you want to say it. But obviously important is knowing who you're talking to. So it might, depending on what you do, it might not be a customer, it might be, I don't know, just different stakeholders, but understanding who you are communicating to and really going into depth on your own research of your customer and who they are and what appeals to them is really important. And then moving on then to what's your photographic style. So I'm at the place now where I pay for a photographer every 2 weeks to help me build up my stock of photos for Instagram. But it's a mixture of that and my own photos from everyday kind of life. But I think if you look at them, they're all of a similar style. I kind of got an editing style. So they're light and bright, and I increase the saturation, I use editing a lot. And we can talk about bits like this in questions. So I'm not saying at all that you need to pay for a photographer, but I am just saying keep it consistent and find your own style. So there are plenty of accounts with thousands of followers who don't have professional photographers, but for me that's important. And I would say over the last 5 years, I have never regretted investing in photography. As a small creative business, I just think you can't invest in photography enough. It's so important. It's the way we tell our story. And for me, a specific example, it's really helped me. So I sell on Not on the High Street. And within Not on the High Street, it is really difficult even to get seen within. So there's 5,000 partners on Not on the High Street. It's really hard to get seen. The Holy Grail is getting in the Christmas catalogue or getting into one of the campaigns so that your products get much more traffic and you sell more. So obviously my one photo of mine got noticed on Instagram. So the Not on the High Street team look at the partners' Instagram profiles and they found a photo for a product of mine and they used it loads. It got into the Christmas catalogue and lots of other things. I got lots of other kind of really positive PR through that one photo on Instagram. So you just never know who's going to see those photos. So investing in photography and keeping that consistent style, I think, is really important. Okay, so I'm going to pause for questions now because I can see a few. Oh, so Martha, no, I don't plan. I should, but I'm just not a planny person. I've tried to, but yeah, I do look at, I think what is important is looking at your Instagram profile and looking at the grid. So making sure there's a kind of a balance and a consistency to looking at the grid, because I've spoken to some people and they've not thought about that. So people look at your grid and look at the scroll down it like a magazine and they see how the photos fit together. So it is important to be aware of how it looks together. And so I'm obviously aware of that when I post. I don't post kind of like 3 selfies in a row. I scatter them around and I scatter different types of photos around so that my feed looks balanced and different and interesting. So yeah, I don't plan, but I do pay attention to the layout of my feed. So yeah, my photos, I try and achieve a consistent style mainly through editing. So brightening them up, increasing the saturation and reducing the contrast, and that kind of works for me. I can get them all to look kind of similar. Yeah, photography is a struggle. I just think if you can get someone to help you, or just blitz it and spend a day taking photographs and give yourself a stock of photos for like the next 2 weeks, then it's so much easier. Any photos of taking photos of mirrors? Oh my goodness. I'm always in the mirror when I take a photo of it, which sounds a bit vain, but yeah, that's hard. Just an angle, I guess. Oh yeah. So are there any other questions at this stage? We're going to go, the next thing we're going to do is look at some actual accounts. So I know where time is ticking away, but we're getting through the content. So yeah, cool. So I will move on. So consistency is key. I'm going to move on though from that slide, and I'm going to move on from that one. I'm not going to do the poll yet. I'm going to go to my examples. So I'm going to go through these examples and talk through them and see what you think, and I'll try and pull out some of the things that I've talked about, and probably some of the more practical stuff rather than the high level stuff. So this is Hannah and her Instagram page, and I love her page. It's really consistent, and she is an interiors blogger, and so her biography tells you everything you need to know. She's renovating her home and she's got an interest in kids. You can see that with the hashtag that she uses, and you'll see obviously photos of her children dotted around. So this is going to appeal to people that are into interiors, who've got a family maybe, and instantly if you looked at this you'd know whether you liked it or not. If you were into like dark gothic interiors, you probably wouldn't follow Hannah. But if you look at it, and so this is the type of thing I'm into. I love her account, I love her house, and her photos are really consistent and light and bright, and they are all about interiors. And then you look at Hannah's captions, and obviously we can't see that here, but you can go onto her account, and the way she talks about her renovation journey is consistent, and she's honest and open and friendly, and she engages. I haven't talked about this, so a key factor is kind of commenting on other people's accounts that are doing a similar thing to you, and engaging with a community and trying to build kind of friendships and connections online through nice comments and engaging with different people. That you can't stress that enough. That is really important to kind of engage. So that's Hannah. Anything else to draw out about that? I don't think so. So the next one is Rachel, and again, these are all obviously people that I follow. It's, you instantly look at it and it's bright and fun and totally consistent. So if you've scrolled down, you know what you're getting. She's also an interiors blogger and stylist. So yeah, these just accounts that I look at and I think this is great. What you're trying to do is get people that might see you through and the explore part of the feed, where different people are recommended for you to follow. They might come across you some other place and you just look them up on Instagram, and instantly you'll know whether you want to follow them, because it's really clear in the biography what they do, and their profile shows you exactly what they're about. Their photos show exactly what they're about, so you're instantly going to follow them or not, if that's not your thing. But to try and get people to kind of, this is your one chance when people are scrolling and they go to your bio and they scroll down your account. It's that one chance to kind of draw people in and to get them to follow you. That's the first step anyway. There's more involved, obviously, in keeping people engaged, but this is the first thing. And then Nikki McWilliams, who is a similar, obviously runs a kind of, I guess, a similar business to mine, selling creative products online. So this is hers, and actually she really doesn't post about her products that much at all. I really like it as that it's a really well-rounded account, but you know what she does, she puts it in her biography. She's really into cats and like a certain style of kind of illustration. She loves stationery, and yeah, you kind of just know, and she's just authentic and herself online. You can kind of tell what type of person she is from just looking at this. So there, oh yes, and the last one, Lauren Aston Designs, I think does Instagram really well. She is a not on the high street seller as well, and she, yeah. So when it comes to kind of creating your own voice, she really does have a unique voice online. She's really funny. She's just totally herself online. She's got her dog that she does crazy things like dresses him up and stuff, and she's just built a following around really her personality and kind of just being herself. And so obviously the blankets and the jumpers come into this, and she will use Instagram as a main kind of source of sales, but it's done in such a fun way, and you can't help but like, I can't anyway, you can't help but like her. She's really fun, and she obviously puts a lot of effort into her Instagram account and creating content, but it's natural and funny, and sells blankets as well. So therefore that I really like. Yeah, so Jenny likes her as well. She's so cool. She's great to follow as a kind of an example in, I think, how to do Instagram well. So yeah, well, oh gosh, it's 6:45. Oh my goodness. So I am actually nearly through quite a lot of my content. I think I'll open it up to questions again. If anyone's got any practical questions, let's make sure we get those covered. So yes, Ro, you put one up, didn't you? Regularly posting daily. My tips on posting daily is really be prepared. So get that stock of photos ready, and spend a day doing photography, and just dedicate a day or a morning to getting a stock of photos for Instagram. So then if you are having a particularly Instagram friendly day, the house is looking tidy, or I don't know, whatever you do, whatever that is for you, then you can take loads of snaps, maybe, and use that opportunity to just take lots of different snaps and store them up for later. That is, yeah, that's the only thing that I do, is kind of just try and prepare and have that that store of photos, so that I've got something to post about every day. Yeah. Any other questions? So best tips to build followers. So, oh yes, I've got a slide. Let's go to that slide. Building a following. So researching hashtags, if you don't already. I don't use hashtags enough, but researching hashtags is a great way to get found, and being really active, mixing them up, not just copying and pasting the same ones, but doing some real work. Spend a morning even researching hashtags, get them all in a notes file on your phone so that you can copy and paste them into your Instagram post, but don't use the same ones over and over again. You mix them up. Collaborations. So I don't do so many now, but I used to do giveaways with different people to kind of reach a broader audience. So they're quite a low cost way of don't do them. I wouldn't say don't do them too much, but you can pepper your account with giveaways, or find some other way of collaborating with other people on Instagram so that they might share things from you. Engaging with other users is a great way of I think the algorithm likes it. I'm not massively technical, but it's just a way of other people noticing you and building up a presence online. And I always do that. If kind of people comment on my posts, or I see they've commented on someone else's post, I'll check out their profile and see what they're about. As much PR as you can get. So I've built my following. A lot of it, I think, has come through the work that I've done with Molly Makes and kind of that audience. So if I do a project with Molly Makes, they'll post it on their Instagram account. So working with as many people as you can and getting your Instagram handle out there so that different people are sharing what you're doing. That's how I've just slowly built up my Instagram following. And gifting to influence as well. So I've done a bit of this. But yeah, for me, it's a really cheap way of of getting exposure. So keep genuine in it. Do it for people that you really think your customers will have a similar customer to you. So I've recently found a girl and I just love her account. I started following her and commenting and engaging with her online. And then I asked if I could send her something and she said yes. So that's great. So it hasn't cost me anything except the price of the product. And hopefully she'll then talk about that online. So just keep it in line with your brand and people that you think fit with your brand. And that can be a really useful way. So when I say research hashtags, I mean, find out the hashtags that your customers might be following. So for me, the hashtags, I need to do more hashtag research to find a kind of a broader range of hashtags that people that are into kind of maybe crafty stuff or getting creative or into interiors or into bright, sunny, colourful interiors, the type of people will use those different hashtags. So understand the hashtags that people that you want to be your followers might be following. So does that answer that question? Hopefully. How do you tend to find other accounts that appeal to you? I just spend a bit of time on Instagram and I go down a little rabbit holes and see who's commenting on people that I like. Other people mention other people quite a lot in their posts. So if I'm not following them, I'll just check them out. I guess just as you're online and you're kind of on Instagram a fair bit, they'll just come up. Maybe use hashtags to find other people. That is how you do it. Use hashtags and find some really good hashtags that and Instagram will recommend hashtags to you as well. If you just have one that you might know that people use that your customers follow that, and then Instagram will recommend other ones to you as well. So I think I've got another slide as well that's probably useful to just look at. So selling on Instagram. So obviously it's good to have a nice account and for it to look nice, but the idea is that you kind of, for me, it's about selling on Instagram. For you, it might be your end game might be something different, but for me, selling on Instagram. So the way that you can do this and sell more on Instagram is using shoppable tags, which I don't actually use, but some people use. I think they're quite tricky to set up, but I think you do that through Facebook. Always link to your shop in your biography. I think everyone can swipe up on stories now and link to a product or a product page. So use that. Refer to the product. So if you're taking a picture of a product and you're using it on Instagram, always refer to it. Even if your caption is about something totally different, which mine sometimes is, I always at the end say, and you can buy this on my store. This is online now. So that they're reminded that actually you're not just there for a chat. You do have something to sell. Email newsletter sign up is huge. Building that is like gold dust. So always referring back to get people to sign up to your email newsletter, because then you're building your own group of people that are kind of you can talk to whenever you like. So yeah, that would be key. And then paid for ads is becoming more and more, I think, part of small businesses' strategy to grow online and to sell online. So I use paid for ads now regularly. And I found it's so the way you can do it is strategic, and you can use copycat audiences. So take your existing audience and focus ads on people that are similar to that. So for me, paid for ads has really increased sales and increased my following. But that's a whole nother webinar, paid for ads on Instagram and Facebook. So it's getting close to 7 o'clock. If you have a multifaceted practice, do you think it might be able to have more than one IG? Yeah, that's a really good question about having more than one Instagram account. I think I've considered that before, whether I should have an account for my kind of stuff that I sell, like the products I sell, and then the more of the content creation stuff, like the Molly Makes craft projects. And I haven't done it, but I have considered it. I think, yeah, possibly that might be, if they're quite different and you find it hard to, so I still manage to kind of merge what I do. Say if I've written an article for Molly Makes, it still fits with my brand, and I can fit it in there without it looking too jarring. But if you're finding that it's difficult to build up that consistency and that style, and you've maybe got too much to talk about, then I would recommend getting more than one Instagram account and just seeing how it goes, and just experiment. You can experiment and see and change it back if it doesn't work. So Jenny, I have 2 accounts, one for my wedding business and the other for non-wedding. So it's not, so yeah, so 2 different, are they 2 different businesses then, Jenny? One for wedding business, or like a personal one and your wedding business? Because I don't have a personal one. This is kind of like my business one is kind of my personal one as well. So obviously, yeah. So I was talking to Ro this morning, and we were talking about how personal to get on Instagram, which is a question I get asked a lot. So I am honest and open about kind of the business, but I don't go into too much detail about like my kids or family life or things like that. I do if I go on a trip that I think might interest people, or I kind of pepper it with little bits of family life so that people can see you're a real person and relate to you, but I don't go overboard on the personal stuff. But it's that balance of like, I am personable and open and honest online, more in stories because you can kind of ramble a little bit. But I don't put pictures of my family on my Instagram account or things like that. So if you're struggling with that, then opening another one is probably a really good idea. And then you can just chill out on your personal one and really go for it on the business account. So yeah, I'll get to keep firing the questions through, but I'll get to my kind of summing up slides and draw it to a close. So yes, Instagram stories. I really love doing them, and I've got used to it now, and it really helps me. I think there's a different group of people that watch stories than look at the grid. So I think if you can get into posting on stories, and if you're not comfortable talking to the camera, at least repeat your grid in different ways on stories, or just put different things, different content online, just different pictures, I guess, more kind of more instant kind of day-to-day life stories on stories. Because I do find if I'm putting something on stories, I'll see sales then come through from it. And I quite often do like sample sales on stories and things like that. So I think it's really good to use, if you can, start using stories as well as just posting on the grid, because it does reach a different audience, I think. So I would really recommend that. So then I've got a couple of summing up slides, but nothing kind of that I probably haven't already said already. But yeah, the importance of a strong brand. For me, being able to deliver a clear message is kind of what I really, really want to be able to do with my business. I want to be able to sum it up in like a couple of sentences, and for people to be able to look at my website and my Instagram and to just really understand whether it's for them or not. So delivering that, having a strong brand is just tied up with delivering that clear message to me. They kind of go hand in hand. Connecting with your audience, it's the same thing, really. It's about delivering a clear message. You're going to connect with your audience, and you're going to find your tribe if your brand is really strong and really authentic and really well developed. So you're going to find the people that love you, and just a more focused business. So I found this kind of whole process of developing my brand online has just helped me become more focused in business. So I make better decisions now. So I say no to things that aren't aligned with my brand, and I know what I'm working for and chasing, because it's something that's come out of that kind of focus work on developing my brand. So I'm much better at saying no and focusing on the really important things and focusing on the things that are going to develop my business and develop my brand. So the benefits of building a strong brand, so I've talked about them kind of already, really. Collaboration opportunities. I've had so many opportunities to do things, I think, from being on Instagram with different makers, and through, again, that example of Not on the High Street, when I quite often get contacted by magazines via Instagram. It's also just instant credibility. I think if you can build that following, and you can build that really consistent feed and message, and it's just, people make really quick decisions about whether they want to work with you or whether they don't. But that a great brand online, especially on Instagram, gives you that instant credibility. And it is just I treat my feed like my own magazine. It's like, what would I want to put in there? What would I want to read? How am I going to make this interesting for people and keep people's attention? So I treat kind of creating content for my Instagram feed like kind of my own mini magazine, and each post almost like a little mini blog, more to some more extent than others, kind of on some posts. But it can be like that. Your posts can be like mini blogs, and people love it when you get open and honest and talk about your life, and they're always the kind of the posts that get more engagement for me. So that is really all I've kind of got to say, I think. Let me just look at the questions. In terms of your connections with online blogs and magazines, how do you go about approaching them with your content? So I originally got an article published in Molly Makes just by sending them in the post a sample of what I wanted to, the project that I wanted to do, and a little kind of really nicely designed printed out flyer that went with it. But it's just, I think, engaging with people online on Instagram, getting to know people like that, and then you're able to direct message them or get their email and approach them like that. So it can be really informal now. It can be, just a quick DM, a quick email. That's on Instagram. If I'm gifting something to someone, it is just a quick direct message. So that's that one. Shoppable rather than stoppable tags. So shoppable tags are, there is a way of you putting a post which has got a product in the picture, and you can somehow connect it to Facebook so that people can click on that picture and then just go straight to the product listing of that. So it makes it easier. It makes it easier for people to do impulse buying. They can just click on the picture. So examples of collaborations. So I recently did a collaboration with an illustrator, Rebecca Strickson, with a hoop, an embroidery hoop, with an illustration of hers. So that came about through online connections, and then I just had lots of press requests come through Instagram. I think it's just a great way to get found. So Kath saying sample sales are great on stories. They do. Things just get snapped up when you put them on stories. I think it's that instant kind of like impulse thing. So I think I've answered everything. Ask your question again if I haven't answered it, but it's coming up to on the dot an hour. So hopefully that was helpful. And hopefully, I did want to create a kind of a handout to go with this. I haven't done it yet. I am intending to do it. So I will let you know, and obviously let Kath and Catherine know when I do that, so that you've got something in your hand. But just message me if I've mentioned a resource or a book or something that you can't find. Feel free to send me a message, or if you've got questions that you haven't asked, feel very free to email me and ask me a question. Yeah, but I think that's it. Yay!
Right.
You're back.
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, good. Oh.
That was really, really useful. Everyone's loving it as well. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank
No,
you
that
so
was really
much,
good.
Chloe.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So I will try and get a kind of a handout, maybe with some more resources, because
Good
I'm aware I've
idea.
talked about quite a lot of
Yeah.
things, and I found so many things helpful, but I just ran out of time to develop that. So I will put that together so you can kind of read, get to the books and things like that.
I think also because the slides are going to be available on Teachable, aren't they? So people can go back and use them that way as well. And the other thing I just wanted to say was thanks to everyone for all the great questions, because it makes me feel like the important things were answered. I'm sure that does for you as well, Chloe.
Cool.
So yeah, thank you to everybody for engaging in that way as well.
Everyone's on the same page, and it's a nice community we've got going on here. It's really nice. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I just wanted to remind everyone again that the next one is going to be in July. And I think it's July the 9th, and it's with Emrys Green, and it's going to be about sort of business development and planning. So I'm definitely covering kind of risks and what to watch out for and what to be prepared for. So it's going to be a different flavour of webinar, but hopefully still really useful for your business. So thanks again. That was the beginning of the conversation. I'm sure you did too. There's so much in there. And I hope other people will feel like they can get in touch with you via Instagram as well and message you if something kind of pops up and they want to ask you a question. That felt like an open invitation, so that's brilliant.
Yeah, no, definitely. And if people want to, I really love doing it. So if people want me to review their page and give them some feedback on their actual page, then do get in contact. It might take me a few days to kind of get round to it, but I'm really up for doing that as well, because I really love doing it. And if it's helpful, I can do that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, sounds perfect. Yeah.
Right.
So
and thanks Nicole. Thanks for hosting and making it go so smoothly. All right, see you again.
Right. We'll see everyone later. See you later, guys.
Bye.